95% of the fights we have in a relationship are because we didn't take the time, we didn't give ourselves the space to fully analyze what happened.
I kinda like you.
Hey everybody, Stephen Bastian. Surprise, I'm here. I know I said I wasn't going to do a show for a week or two because I had a lot on my plate, but I have a few minutes this morning, so I wanted to knock episode 13 out of the way and keep giving you guys content as much as possible. I will try to do as much as I can. Actually, I may be able to do a second show today that will follow up this show. But this show is called Time and Space. For my science fiction fans, I know you probably saw that title and went, ooh, he's going to talk about time travel. Well, I might talk about time travel a little bit. Because we've all been in that situation where we've said or done something that in hindsight, after we've had time to process it, have thought, God, man, I wish I had a time machine. I wish I could go back in time and not do that. How many times have you been in an argument and emotions are running high and you're angry at the other person and you say something and immediately as soon as you said it, you're like, oh, why did I say that? Damn it, I shouldn't have said that. I wish I could take that back. But you've already said it. You've already put it out there. And that person will react accordingly. Now, there are people that are able to process information like that. They're able to hear something that they don't like, it bothers them, and they're able to process it instantly. I envy those people. I'm not one of them. Emotions run high in me. I'm a very passionate person. I'm a very loving person. When I'm in a relationship, I'm all about the passion. I'm all about the intensity. You know, I'm all about maximum effort. You know, I'm a giver. And with that comes a price, unfortunately. I'm an emotional person. So I can't process things instantly. And a lot of times when somebody drops a bomb on me and says, I did this or that happened, my reaction is a knee-jerk reaction, like we saw with Will Smith in that earlier episode where he saw him kissing that girl and he was, hey. Knee-jerk reaction. We need to train ourselves to take time. If you're in a relationship and the person you're with, you've been with them for a while, you're in love, you're getting along, everything's going great, and that person one day says to you, you know, you're just boyfriend and girlfriend, nothing really serious, but you're exclusive, you're not seeing anyone else. And that other person says, hey, listen, I got a job that, you know, my job, and they transferred me to a city 500 miles away. I've got to move. Now your relationship where you were seeing each other every day and you were spending time together and enjoying a love life and being intimate suddenly turns into a long distance relationship. Like I said, some people could process that immediately. People like me, if you're like me and you're an emotional person, you need to train yourself to take the time to process that bomb. Because your knee-jerk reaction is going to be to overreact or react, and then it's going to cause an argument. 95% of the fights we have in a relationship are because we didn't take the time, we didn't give ourselves the space to fully analyze what happened. We react. And when we react, we force that other person to react, and it cascades out of control, and most likely can end up on FU. Or go F yourself, or whatever, however you word it. We need to train ourselves to give ourselves time. So when somebody says to you, blah, 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 and you know that's going to trigger you, your answer should be, okay, cool. Change the subject. So, what do you got planned for the rest of the afternoon? Or how was school yesterday? Or how was work yesterday? Or anything. Suck it up, stuff it down, and deal with it, and get out of the conversation as soon as possible. Say, listen, they say, oh yeah, school was great. Okay, well listen, I got a lot going on today. I'm really busy. I'll get up with you when I can. I've got some things I got to do. I'll talk to you soon. And then bam, done. Don't talk about it. That will give you time to think, to process, to understand. Wrap your head and your heart around it. And then you'll be able to deal with it. You may be able to call. It'll give you time to call a friend that you trust, your confidant, and say, hey, listen, my best friend is Jessica, and she does Carpe Nerdium with me. And when I'm in a situation where I'm confused, or I'm hurting, or I'm unable to process, she's my go-to in that case. Because I can't talk to the person that upset me. That's just going to cause a fight. So I go to Jess and I say, listen, Jess, I had a problem. And she's going to go, okay, let's talk. And she'll help me analyze it out. So the fight I would have had with that person because of the emotion, I'll be able to cry with her and I don't know why a person's acting like this. I'm just saying, you've got to have that go-to. And when you have that go-to, you can actually have whatever reaction you were going to have with that person. Avoiding a fight. Because you've already, at that point, once it's over, you've ironed it out, you've reached a point of balance again. You understand the situation, and then you can approach it and go, okay, so listen, I've freed up my time. About what you said earlier, I think we can do the long distance thing. I think it'll be okay. Or I can move to blah, blah city with you because I was thinking about it. There's good opportunities out there. You can come to a conclusion that you wouldn't have come to had there been a knee-jerk reaction. So what, you're leaving me? You're just going to abandon me, right? That's not good for anybody. That's not good with anybody. If you're in a new relationship or a budding relationship, and that person comes to you and says, listen, I know we're not exclusive, but I just want to let you know something. I slept with my ex last night, which is a horrific idea, and we'll get into that in another episode. But let's say they said that, you need to take the time to process that. Because you'll eventually come to the conclusion, well, that happens. That person's human. Everybody makes mistakes. What did we learn? Are you okay? Then you start to build the empathy. Are you all right? How are you handling that? Oh, I'm fine. It's good. It's just whatever. Okay, good. I'm glad you're okay. Or if you're in a new relationship and you're just dating and it's not serious and it's not committed and it's not exclusive, and that person says, you say, hey, let's get together on Friday. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry. I've got a date with John on Friday. Can I see you Saturday? Your first reaction is be, who's John? Who's John? Wait, were you saying John? Or what did you do last night? I slept with John. You slept with John? You haven't even slept with me yet. That's not going to help. That's not going to help anybody. That's going to destroy whatever you could have had with that person. I know. I've done it. I'm not talking out of my ass here. I've done it in the past. I've learned. And it's hard. I'm not telling you this is something that you're going to be able to do overnight. This is not something that you have to literally train yourself for it. You have to get in the habit. And I told you, human beings are emotionally creatures of habit. We're creatures of habit. You need to train yourself and make it become habit that when somebody drops a bomb on you, you don't have to worry about owning a time machine because you will process it properly. We're in such a rush. Everything has to be now, go, 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 go. You don't have to rush. there's a slogan for cell phones for not texting and driving. I've seen it on TV. It can wait. It can wait. Whatever you're going to have, if you know that discussion has the possibility of taking a bad turn, it can wait. Take the time. Don't ignore the person, but just be busy. We're so afraid, and I'm one of them, I'm guilty of it. We're so afraid of if we're not in that person's face all the time, they're going to forget and look somewhere else, especially in a brand new relationship. I've got to stay in their face. I've got to have face time. I've got to stay in their face. Because if I don't constantly be in their face, they're going to look at somebody else. They're going to start texting somebody else, or they're going to start talking to somebody else, and that person's going to have the advantage. Because whether you want to admit it or not, in a new relationship, it's a competition. It's a competition. And if you're a competitive person, it's even worse. What may look like jealousy is just competitiveness. So take the time. Give yourself the space. Process. Talk it out with a close friend. Come to a conclusion and an understanding, and then deal with the problem. Now, it's not always going to go that way, even if you do that. Even if you did everything by the book. If you said, Stephen, you know what, you're right. And there are exceptions to every rule. Like I said, there are people that can process things immediately. If you are that person, I envy you, and I wish I were you. You're not going to, even if you talked it out with your best friend, and you deal with it with your best friend, and you're talking it out, and you're dealing with it, and you come to a conclusion the other person may not have. The other person may not come to the same conclusion you have. So you go to that person and you say, listen, I can move to blah, blah town, or we could do the long distance thing. And that person says, well, I really, we're too new in the relationship or whatever. I don't feel comfortable with you moving or whatever. You have to do it again. You feel me? If you get into the conversation, you say, listen, I've had some time to think. I've got some time now. Don't even tell them you've been thinking about it. Don't say I've been thinking about it. Don't tip your hand. Say, hey, listen, I've had some time to get shit done, and I'm ready to talk. So about what you were talking about earlier. Just pretend like you haven't been thinking about it. You've just been doing other things. You've been busy. It's okay to be busy. I've been thinking about it, and, blah, 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 blah. And then that person says, well, blah, 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 and you don't like that person's answer? It can wait. Give yourself time. Say, okay, I understand what you're saying. Oh, crap, I got a phone call. I'll get up with you in a minute. It's okay to lie about that. You could tell that little white lie. Hey, listen, so-and-so's calling me. I got a business call. I got to go. I'll talk to you in a minute. Give yourself time and space. Process the new information. Go to your friend and say, hey, I just talked to her or him, and he said this or that. Yeah, what do I do now? Oh, well, you need to do blah, 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 and you'll come to a new conclusion. And then you hit them. It's okay to stretch the conversation out. If it's important, it's really got to be stretched out. This conversation could actually last days. It's okay. You don't need to solve the problem in 5 minutes. Give yourself time. I'm Stephen Bastian. This is The Relationship Life. I'll see you next time. And next time, maybe later this afternoon, if I get time, I'll do my next episode. Is going to be episode 14. It's going to be called Loss. And we'll talk about dealing with loss. Be good to each other. I'll see you soon. Peace.